Hey everyone, thanks for coming back. If you were here last week, really glad you decided to join me again for my second vlog on reversing diabetes type 2. So I'm going with a real time journey of reversing diabetes type 2 in a vlog format, and I'm following Dr. Roy Taylor, who is a physician, a professor of medicine and metabolism at Newcastle University in the UK. So I just completed week 2. I'm down 10 pounds. I have a lot of energy, so much energy to share this with you. And my mood is pretty great, pretty great. It's really wonderful to make progress. I went public to motivate both of us. If I can do this, you can do this. And I say that from my very, very heart. Weight loss has always been a difficult journey, and I am what they call a slow loser. I lose weight very slowly. And I would just really encourage you to take action. I am a pre-diabetic. I am not actually type 2 diabetic as yet, and I don't want to go there. I don't want to get there. So I'm following the protocol that Dr. Taylor had set up for his research patients as he was doing this research for this program. And I made a very clear cut decision to stop risking my future health. And I did not do that lightly because what I'm doing is not easy. But we'll talk about that some more in a few minutes. So once again, week 2, I've lost 10 pounds and I'm just really, really optimistic about this. Now, I made a couple mistakes. I want to share those mistakes with you because if you would decide to do this, I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made. Both of them were kind of unpleasant, resulting in some gastrointestinal issues that I don't want you to have to go through. The first shake that I used, because I'm drinking shakes, 2 to 3 shakes a day, high protein, full meal replacement shakes. So they have lots of vitamins and minerals and prebiotics, probiotics. If you don't know what any of those words mean, don't worry about it. I happen to be extremely lactose intolerant. And what I did not notice about the first shake was that it had not one, not two, 5 different kinds of dairy in it. And for the first couple of days, I was feeling pretty bad in my gut. And then I finally really carefully read the label and I was like, oh, holy smokes, no wonder I'm so sick. So that was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is I also do intermittent fasting with this. I practice intermittent fasting in that I do not eat after dinner or drink any shakes after dinner in the evening. And I do not eat any shake or any food for that matter until about 10:30 or 11 in the morning. And one morning last week, I got up and decided to take my vitamins first thing in the morning. Had some tea, my green tea in the morning, and my 16 ounces of water first thing in the morning, lemon water. And it wasn't too long after that, I was really sick to my stomach and, in fact, lost all those good vitamins. So I would encourage you not to do that first thing in the morning. Get your shake, get some food on board before you undertake the vitamins. So if you are beginning to wonder what the protocol is, I'd like to share that with you right now. Step 1 is rapid weight loss. His philosophy is just get the weight off. Get the weight off. And in fact, when you are in times of restricted calories, you're actually less hungry. And I find that to be true and find that somewhat easier. Step 2 is return to normal eating. When I say normal, I mean normal in the sense of what is going to promote keeping that weight off as a normal eating plan when I complete. And we'll talk more about that later also. Then number three is maintaining that weight loss. The way I plan to maintain that weight loss, the way that's been recommended, is through eating still really healthy foods, which I've always eaten, just less of it. And trying to find that balance of what does less mean? What does that mean in terms of calories per day, meals per day, times of eating per day? That will all come out in the wash, so to speak, in the end when we start that balancing act of maintaining that weight loss. So, if you want to know the truth, in my opinion, the weight loss is the easy part. Um, it's not exactly pleasant to feel hungry some nights when I go to bed, but that's actually the easy part. I've really begun to think about how I will structure again that maintenance phase, which also means that I've really begun to think about why I overeat in the first place. And generally, I think the reason for that is as I like food. I'm a foodie. I'm a professional cook. I like to try new things, eat new things, experience new tastes and whatnot. But eating too much of that, even though it's very healthy, clearly has not served me because I weigh too much. So, as a registered nurse for years and years in my earlier career, I would look at significantly obese patients and people in general, and I would know two things about that. Just intrinsically, I knew that it wasn't their fault. There are emotional reasons why people overeat, and some of those are very, very difficult. And when we look at the obesity rate in the United States of America, and actually it's almost worldwide now, we see that those rates are increasing, increasing, increasing. And a big chunk of that is our environment. So we look at what happens in our emotional life as well as what happens in the environment. Then the second thing that I just knew was that there was something about their bodies that had changed. That over time of overeating, something changed. Because we could look at a really obese person, we could look at the way they ate. Not everybody, but for lots of people, they weren't eating a whole lot more than you or me and remaining obese. And part of that was definitely some of the physiological changes that were happening as time went on, and then sort of set up this area of like no weight loss anymore. The body just stopped losing weight, it remained obese. I know this is a very simplistic way of looking at this. Um, and that's indeed why so much research and so much time goes into this issue because it's really multifactorial. So, what I want to do right now is just explain a really one little tiny piece of what I've learned from Dr. Taylor, what he learned that helped him really get into how do I help people? How do I help people lose the weight and then maintain the weight loss? So, what I want to introduce is a concept called um, personal fat threshold. Dr. Taylor believes that we each have a personal fat threshold, which is why some people gain weight easily, some people don't. And when we look at the amount of fat that each person has and the capacity they can hold in their bodies, that's what we mean by personal fat threshold. The theory evolved by him looking at people who underwent like stomach staplings and bypass surgery and all those other types of bariatric procedures being performed. And very simply, again, very simply, when the fat stores are significantly reduced, the liver and the pancreas can again begin to do their job of maintaining a stable blood sugar without medications, without insulin. And those fat stores are maintained by the amount and the types of food that we eat. So people are in fact reducing their type 2 diabetes. And it's very exciting that they're doing that without major surgery and without lots and lots of drugs and other things that all have side effects. And bariatric surgery has a whole bunch of side effects as well. So you may think that eating a very restricted calorie diet and inducing rapid weight loss is like very radical. It is. It is. But what I would say to you is that feels easy compared to some of the radical stuff that could happen to me if I, in fact, get into type 2 diabetes. The risks of losing my eyesight, of losing a limb because of impaired blood flow, and for me personally, significantly increasing my risk of cardiovascular disease, meaning heart attacks and strokes, um, high blood pressure, which I actually already have high blood pressure. So that may be kind of hard to hear, particularly when you look at the outcomes that are possible if you do get type 2 diabetes and you struggle with it and kind of lose that battle. So I'm no longer an ostrich with my head in the sand, and I want to bring you along on the journey if you care to come with me. I'll post again next week. I'll have some more about this experience and what kind of things to do and not do, and more information on how you too can do this, how you can join me if you'd like to, and how you can, most importantly, reduce the risk of getting this disease and then having to live with the consequences of it. So I'm also want to encourage you to invite people you know that may be undergoing that pre-diabetes, they're in that pre-diabetes stage, or they actually have a diagnosis and they're living with type 2 diabetes. Clue them in on this, and we're going to work on this together. All right? Have a great week. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.